keep beckoning to me.
There's a heated debate going on currently in the arena of infant nutrition in South Africa. Government's draft legislation has formula manufacturers, breast is best advocates, the media, the medical profession, and mothers all at loggerheads. The draft legislation recommends exclusive breastfeeding until 2 years of age. The draft also limits access to formula feeding information with stringent rules on infant foodstuff.
The draft legislations on infant and young child feeding, they are mainly relating to how products are marketed that are consumed by children below the age of 2 years, if I'm correct, and also on the labeling of those products.
I think it was just about seeing the tendency in our country at the moment that more and more women are wanting to formula feed and are stopping breastfeeding earlier or not even starting to breastfeed.
He was breastfeeding.
He was breastfeeding until about 3.5 months. But then my milk dried up and the only other way was formula feeding.
There are women who genuinely can't breastfeed, and I empathize with that. But there are also women who tend to give up too easily.
The
reason I use formula is that when I go to work, if he cries, someone has to feed him. So formula is important to stop him crying.
The draft legislation, which is partly based on the World Health Organization's voluntary code of conduct for infant food manufacturers, aims to protect breastfeeding mothers from aggressive commercial marketing. This is sometimes done through phone lines and pamphlets, but the information can sometimes be misleading.
If you read some of the pamphlets with a scrutinizing eye, you'll find somewhere it's written you can breastfeed your baby 4 to 5 times a day. And as educators, we know that leads to failure. And the minute you fail, you'll need a product to supplement. So basically, their messages are never innocent.
As far as the labelling is concerned, at the moment, most of the manufacturing companies do maintain the formula that they have breast is best on all of the formula tins. What the government has wanted is big warning notices that when the mother uses it, that she understands that there are hazards involved in using the product. For example, a mother who's using it and doesn't have clean water or safe water to use, or is not sterilising her bottles properly, therefore can lead to ultimately disease in her baby.
Because of the changes in labelling the draft legislation proposes, manufacturers are warning the cost of formula could rise up to 50%.
If the price of formula milk goes up, it'll set me back financially. The only income I get is a child grant of 170 Rand per month. That's $26, and he goes through 2 large tins. One tin costs between 103 and 110 Rand, $16 to $17.
If the formula becomes too expensive, I'll have to stop buying it and breastfeed only. I also then have to give him porridge, which is not as nutritious as formula.
Another factor to consider in South Africa is HIV/AIDS and breastfeeding. It is currently thought that mixed feeding, that is breastfeeding and formula feeding, increases the rate of mother-to-child transmission.
The HIV/AIDS issue has increased the number of mothers who might need to formula feed. And that has opened a window for industry people to sell more of their products. And one of the biggest issues that you'll hear is that breastfeeding is dangerous. It will kill your baby. And those are the messages we used to hear when this thing started, that if you are HIV positive, do not breastfeed. And I don't think that's the way to go.
However, government argues that exclusive formula feeding can be more dangerous in certain circumstances.
Government policies are saying mothers should be counselled and given enough information so that they can make an informed choice. We know that with exclusive breastfeeding, even though we are saying the risks are reduced, there is still a chance, small chance, that your baby will still get the virus. But a lot of people are also not aware that if you are formula feeding in an environment that is not safe, the chances are that even if your child is negative, your child might be dying of diarrhea or other illnesses. So when you make that decision, you should be given all the options.
Another worrying factor for the media are some aspects of the draft legislation. Articles published about formula feeding will have to follow strict regulations which impose the incorporation of positive information about breastfeeding. This, the media fear, will mean the curtailment of freedom of speech.
And the media industry really feels very strongly about the fact that they do not wish to live under certain regulations and are allowed to publish what they want to publish, because it is the mother's right to read what is out there and the mother's right to know the pros and cons of each side of it.
Communication and advertising, it's advertising, you wanting to sell your brand. Sometimes you get brands that say, look, if your baby takes this formula, she's going to be an astronaut. There's that kind of communication. It's advertising. If that's what the government is wanting to curb, then say so. Say that, look, you can't say if your child eats this, she's going to become a physiotherapist. Just state the facts. This is what formula feeding is all about. This is the nutrition that you get. This is the nutrition that you don't get.
I will not stop writing articles that give valuable information about how to formula feed your baby. I will do it. That is my duty as a health worker. I cannot be legislated not to give a balanced opinion. I will always, first of all, promote breastfeeding, but I will not deny babies the right to the best formula feeding possible if they are on formula or need to be put on it.
The way that government can protect the poor in this issue, because that's obviously what government is trying to do. If these are the people that you're wanting to target, if this is what this is about, then go and do the communication drives, etc., there, where the information is going to be relevant to those people that you're wanting to target. But don't offend the people that are able to make that decision on their own.
Basically, we are not limiting information. We are just making sure that at least mothers will be exposed to unbiased kind of information.
I understand that all government was trying to do was to say, hey guys, breastfeeding is a good thing to do for a longer period of time, and we're going to try and stop anybody who interferes with that process. But you know what? The way to do it is to positively advocate breastfeeding.
She actually obviously doesn't do this.
My milk is very good. When the baby is suckling, he gets everything I have eaten. Energy, vitamins and minerals. He becomes strong and powerful like me.
I think everybody who can breastfeed should, simply because of the benefits to the mother's health and the baby's health.